updates, then we're going to do a little Canvas overview. Everyone, I think pretty much everyone in the state, all TVIs, O&M instructors, agency personnel, college students have been given an invitation to join our Canvas site. So we are going to talk a little bit more about how to use that, how that can benefit you, and how we can build it together. And then at the end, we're going to, well, actually the majority of it, we want to hear from everyone who's out there, questions that you have, what things are working, what you figured out, resources, things that, that can help everyone. So we'll go ahead and let Liz get started with some updates.
Okay, so I'm just going to share about a couple different things, kind of a hodgepodge of information for you guys. I'm looking at my notes over here. So one of the things that we have been working on here at FIMC for quite some time is our online ordering site that we use for student registration, census, textbook orders. That's in the process of being updated. So sometime maybe in the next month or so, when you sign on, it should look very different. The functionality of it will be essentially the same, but it will look different. So don't be, surprised and think, oh, did I go to some, hacked site or something like that. There will be a change, but we'll make sure to send out a notice to everyone telling you that, hey, this is different now, but you're still going to be able to do all the things that you were doing before with that site. We just want to test it out and make sure all the kinks are out before we push it out to all of you. You may have seen that the Working with the Experts that was taking place on April 23rd and 24th in West Palm Beach is still taking place. It is just going to be virtual now. So there's going to be 4 sessions, so 2 sessions on that Thursday and 2 sessions on the Friday. And you can pick whichever sessions you want to go to. You don't have to go to all 4. If there's just 2 of them that look interesting to you, you just have to make sure you register for each session that you want to attend, because that's how we'll know what in-service points to give you. So that information is on our website under the workshops and conferences page. And so to find the link to register, you need to open the agenda and make sure you scroll down to see all the sessions that are in there to register for those. So we're very happy that we can still offer that to you guys, even though, it's going to be a little different, but we want to make sure we're still giving you some resources and helping you develop your technology skills. So make sure you check that out. So APH, we still have money for APH. You want to make sure that you're still ordering things because things can be shipped out. And when you fill out that order form, you can put a student's address. We're fine with that. If it's something that you want to go directly to a student, put that in there and we'll process it that way. We just want to make sure we spend all of that money that we have, because if we don't, it's going to go back. It's going to go back to APH. We wouldn't let that happen anyways, but we don't want to be the ones that are ordering things. You guys know what your students need. We're just going to be guessing if we start ordering things. So just be aware that APH is still there as a resource, and keep ordering things that you think your students would benefit from right now. The other thing with APH, so we found out that the Building on Pattern teachers manuals, so they have the Braille versions of those on the APH website for free download. You already might know that. But the print PDFs, we can get those from APH, but it's from their Louis database, so it's not something that you guys can get directly. But if there is a Building on Pattern teacher's manual that you want the PDF of, so say you want the PDF and you want to send the print version home with the families right now, so you guys both have your own copy, that's something you could request from us through the loan library form. That's how we want to do this. So if you I will say not all of them are available, but APH is working on getting every single teacher's manual for every Building on Pattern product that they have. So if there's one of those that you would like, submit the loan library request form and we'll see if we can get that to you. And that would be sent to you in a link. And then also keep in mind that APH, they have a lot of their manuals for their products on a website as well as their sites. I don't know if someone wants to type this in the chat box, but it's sites.aph.org/manuals. And they have manuals for a lot of the different products that they have, and that might be a helpful resource right now if you're sending a product to a family and you don't have the manual and you want to help them make sure they know how to use something. And then, so beyond APH, so the other thing that has been coming up a lot lately is thinking about IEPs and evaluations and what are we doing with all of that right now, and this whole thing that went to OSTEP and the federal government, you know, what's going to happen with IDEA. And CASE, which I believe is the Council of Administrators for Special Education, they sent a letter to the federal government asking that there be a 45-day extension from the time that we all go back to a physical school building, a 45-day extension for things like IEPs, evaluation, Part C to B transitions. So that is something that could potentially happen. So to me, in my mind, when I hear that, I think, okay, so if I were still a teacher, I would want to try to do what I can right now, because then once you get back, you're going to have 45 days to finish any IEPs and evaluations that should have been done at any point within this time frame that we're in right now. So just kind of keep in mind that that sort of stuff is out there. And personally, I feel like that's something that could happen, where there's going to be some sort of extension like that, but it's not going to be unlimited amount of time. So do what you can now with your IEP and your evaluation virtually. We know that it's not possible to do a whole functional vision learning media assessment virtually. Not going to happen, but there are parts that you can do. So just to make life easier for yourself down the road, you can work on the things that can be done now. Does any of you have anything to add to that? I'm looking at my team here. Does that all make sense? Okay.
And that could be something that comes up later once we get to the your turn part. Is I have heard from some teachers that are doing portions of the assessment, portions of the functional vision assessment virtually and working with parents. So maybe some teachers can share your success stories, what you've been doing, or some secrets and tips that what's been working. So some of that trial and error, and let everybody else know what you've had success with.
Yes. Okay, so those are all the updates I have from us, unless anyone else on the team can think of something that I missed, but I'm pretty sure that was it. So I'm going to move on to Canvas. So some of you I think are already on our Canvas site, you got your invitation, and most of you should have received an invitation to our Canvas site. And really what it is, it's a resource site where we have discussion boards and different things for you guys where you don't have to. We know that there was just sort of like this onslaught and deluge of information and resources once this whole coronavirus thing started. And that can be very overwhelming. You don't know, am I really supposed to go through and sift through all of this to figure out what to use with my students? So our goal was to kind of have one place that you could go and look and get ideas that have been vetted and that are going to be meaningful and helpful to you. So I am going to show you what the invitation and sign up process should look like, because I think some people are having a little bit of a challenge with that. And then I'm going to have Sue is going to go through the site itself. But so I'm going to change what I am sharing.
How many of you are signed up for Canvas or have looked at any of the resources? You can type in the chat box. Fantastic. Seeing lots of people saying yes, looking at everything, using a lot of the Google Classroom resources, using some of the information we've posted with teachers and parents. That's awesome. Fantastic.
Yeah. And this is the link on the FI. Okay. So Norma, so the way that we're doing the Canvas site, we want it to be something that's more secure, that not just anyone can get access to. So the way that it works is if you have not received an invitation, then you can contact me and I will add you to the site, and then you'll get an email inviting you to join the site. So, but your email might have gone to junk or, you know, spam or something in your inbox because it is coming from this Canvas Free for Teachers email address, which you all should see here on my screen. So this is what the email will look like that you get from Canvas. And I found out that if you click on this link here, this Get Started, and it takes you to Internet Explorer, at least for us, it doesn't work. So my suggestion is to right-click on this Get Started, and I have been copying the link address, and I'm already in Chrome, but let's say your computer wants to default to something other than Chrome. Okay, so I'm going to go to that link. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so now it's saying that I've been invited to join, so I need to accept. I'm going to click on accept. Okay, I need to log in. So I already had an account with this email. You might not have an account, so it would look a little bit differently for you with Canvas.
So it will prompt folks to create an account first.
Yes.
And we recommend that you use your school email, your work email address to create your account. That's what the invitation is going to. And just for security reasons and privacy issues and everything, you should definitely make it a habit to use your actual work email account.
Yeah, and so with that process that I just went through, if it starts asking you questions like, are you a teacher? Are you a student? Where do you work? What is your role? Then it's taken you to the wrong place. Go back to the email and use that link again, because if you go through that other route, then it doesn't realize that this is where you're trying to go. Like somehow it doesn't connect. But so this is what the Canvas site looks like, and it's something that's ongoing, so we are constantly adding things to it. Right now, it's primarily discussion boards and resources for you guys to use, but we do see in the future, this is something that we could use for online learning. We could have an online course in here, just like if you've ever done, you know, used Canvas or Blackboard or Moodle or desire to learn D2L, it's the same idea. So we could have things like that too in the future. So we like the idea of that, being able to expand on this.
Liz, if a teacher has their own Canvas account already, can they use that?
So you can use that. You just need to make sure that you're going through the email that you got that's inviting you, and then you can just sign in with your existing, as long as it's tied to the email that we use to invite you. That's the one thing. So it could be, we're using work emails for this, like Sue said, and that's our way of kind of making sure that it's secure. So Christy, I'm not sure if your existing Canvas account is through your work email or another email. So you might have to make a different account if that's the case. Okay, so Sue, do you want to go ahead and?
So I'll do a little overview. So I'm going to share my screen.
Sure.
You stop yours and oh, go ahead.
Yeah, let me stop my sharing.
I saw that somebody's already been enjoying Kay's shoe tying video, and that is probably one of the questions I feel like I get asked the most from parents when we go out and do workshops and things with families is how do I teach them to tie their shoes? So I continually refer back to Kay did a really great video breaking it down and explaining how someone can teach children how to do that. So go check that out. So when you come in to,
Hey Sue.
yes.
Could you go back to the page that you were just on, or so can you do student view so that way it'll look on the right?
Oh, sorry, thank you.
Yeah, that's okay. I just want to make sure it looks the way
that everyone's gonna see.
Yeah.
Good thinking. Oh, I didn't know that's how you get that. Okay. Not now. Come back later. Okay, so when you first log in, you might see what looks like, I don't know if they get a dashboard then, where you have to click on, Okay, so maybe I did something wrong because I'm not seeing anything now.
So
Let me test the
you
student.
want to go to courses,
Okay.
and then there
There
it is.
it
It's
is.
the FIMC. Yeah. So if
Okay,
they did
thank you.
have.
This is very different. All right, so look for your courses, and then that will be, unless you have other things in your Canvas site, look for the FIMC-VI Florida TVI group. It says TVI group because we've invited all TVIs, O&M instructors, agency personnel, folks who are working with children in some aspect who have visual impairments. The announcements site is just what it is. There's an announcement. So if we want to just give a quick update or say, hey folks, check out this great resource that we just added, or maybe I want to put some Braille Challenge finals updates on here, I might put that under announcements to give everybody a heads up. The next section that you've access to is the modules. So just click on the modules. So the left-hand side is your navigation bar. And you can find, I'm going to close all these out so we can see all the modules that we have opened. So I like to think of the modules as folders. So if you have your flash drive, you have your computer, your hard drive, where you're saving things, you put something into a folder. So we've categorized all of these modules into topics such as Canvas tips. So how to use the discussion board, how you can change your profile name, add a picture. That's usually, these are some fun things to do. So add a profile picture so that when you're logged on or write things other people know it's you. It tells you how to log out and set up the mobile Canvas app. So this was really helpful. This was something that we had a lot of us had to figure out from the beginning, that we didn't know that that was a thing. So it's very simple directions if you follow them step by step. If you're like me and you just look and then start pushing buttons, it's not going to be simple. So don't be like Sue, start with number 1 and then go to number 2, not number 4.
And the nice thing too with the mobile app, and I think Tiffany Stevens, shout out to her. I think she's the one that asked about that. It gives you updates, like it tells you what's been updated on the Canvas site, so that way you know, oh, something was added to this page on the Canvas site. So it's kind of a handy way of knowing, oh, there's something new on there, so you don't necessarily have to be checking constantly to see if there's something different.
This is a good point, and I'm guessing Student View has the same option, but if you find that you're getting too many notifications, I was getting way too many emails a day about what was happening in Canvas. Just things that weren't pertinent. But there is a way, if you go into your account and settings, where you can change what notifications you're receiving. We also have a section called FIMC-VI Forms and Surveys. You can open all of these headings so you have everything showing all the time, or you can just click the arrow to collapse them. So our FIMC Forms and Surveys, we have the annual survey, which is completed. Thank you everyone for filling that out. That's huge for planning purposes. A virtual assistance request form. So if anybody has questions, you're not sure who specifically to ask, you need assistance or support, if you submit this form, it will go to all of us, and then whoever's available can get to it first. That way, if you just email one person and that person's tied up, working on a webinar or working on a big project, they might not get to it right away. Here's a link that goes to the loan library form, which is also on our website, but this is just all in one location. So you can complete all of those online pretty easily. Professional development, these are professional development trainings or webinars or opportunities. The one that says Braille takes you to online or distance learning or professional development opportunities to learn the Braille code. And some of it is Nemeth, some is UAB. For technical, one is the Hadley Braille course. So this is all the time. This is not just because of the COVID-19 lockdown. That's going to be there all the time. But what we do have.
Sue, can I say something real quick?
Yes.
And just as a reminder on that UEB, the Braille UEB online, those are accessible. So if your student has a refreshable Braille display at home, then they can also access that. So that can also be in resources for students as well as resources for teachers. So those are built accessibly.
Super, very good to know. And then we have a subfolder under professional development called scheduled webinars. So these are things that whenever we hear from a group, an organization, if we get an email that there's a webinar on this happening, so the Florida Inclusion Network had a webinar yesterday, April 13th, we will probably leave these links up here because very often these webinars are recorded. So if you go to the link at somewhere, if you search around, you should be able to find an archived video. They may not show up right away. Some organizations might post them a few days later or a week later. Some of them just lead to a list of a lot of options. So free online training opportunities for professionals with students who are deafblind. So this is going to lead to, we have to save that file. Hold on, I think I need to view. If you click on the little page with the magnifier, it will open the page directly in your browser, so you don't have to save the document. But this has a huge list of opportunities that are coming up, and it has the date, the topic, and how you can register. So there's a little bit of everything on here, and then you can minimize that file preview. The non-driving and low vision driving, I think this one is coming up. Some of them we put dates on, some don't have dates. Here we go. Some of them, when you click on it, it goes to a little bit more information. This is 3 webinar opportunities are offered for TVIs and O&M instructors, and then 1 webinar is, so 2 are for TVIs, O&Ms, 1 is specifically geared towards teens, young adults, and family members. If you click the magnifier, it will give you those dates of when they're happening. So 1 has already happened, 1 will be April 16th, and the teen family webinar is today. But again, we're going to leave these up here because people might be, they're very likely to be archived for later. If you want to head back, just go back to your modules and it'll bring you back out to the main site. So if you come across scheduled webinars or things that your district is doing that's open to anyone, or you find resources for specific organizations that maybe you belong to, if you follow, let's say, like NOAA, the National Organization for Albinism Hyperpigmentation, and you got a notice that something is coming, like, please share it on our discussion board and we can add it to the professional development. And I'll tell you in a second about the discussion board. We do have right now, this is section called Resources for Remote Learning. We've been inundated with resources for remote learning. And that's also what prompted us to create this site, is that there's so much information out there. I was often getting 3 or 4 emails from different jobs and different contacts, all with the same information. And it was getting really, really overwhelming. So we wanted to put everything in one place, and then you can browse through. So we're trying to title it with what it seems like it should be, what you would think it would be. Some of these are pages, so you click on it and it'll get you to more information. It'll send you to a link, or it might just open right off the bat. And right here we have Zoom helpful links. So somebody was asking about Zoom accessibility. And if you go to the Zoom website, they have tons of tutorials and videos, and they're really, really helpful. The more you Zoom, the better you will be able to Zoom. So practice, 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 practice with friends and colleagues. I've accidentally ended meetings and hung up on people and done weird things, but that's how you learn how to do those better.
One more thing.
Yeah.
We did a family Zoom Sunday, and my 90-year-old uncle was able to get on and manage it. So when you say you can't learn it, get over yourselves. You can learn it.
That's awesome. We also have complementary technology and resources. So this is going to be very, very full right now because a lot of really great companies have stepped up. Internet providers, technology companies, vendors, a little bit of everybody to offer. I just saw that College Board is offering free AP and SAT, ACT resources and things that maybe weren't available before. So a lot of really great support from all over to get students and teachers and families through this time period. As some of these things become not free, then we can update and remove, but anything from here on out that we find that's going to be available free of charge, we'll put under the complementary technology and services. So there's just lots and lots of stuff. And some of it is not specific to visual impairments. Free meals for kids and teens. This will send you to a link where you can search the entire state to find out where you can send families if they need to look for options for food every day or locally. The JAWS Zoom Text Fusion is free until June 30th. Mike Wood from Vispero has asked if anyone has students who have downloaded or used any of this free software. They have a news station that would like to do a story. So you can either put it in the chat or email me separately. But if you have a student who has taken advantage of this offer and is using the free software, and if the family and student are interested, Vispero would like to communicate with them to set up an interview. So it would be a news TV interview is what it sounds like. But that would be really cool. It would give them some great promotion as well, since they are doing this to help everybody out. Objective Ed, which is normally not free, they've opened up all of their online or their games and educational resources for everyone to try it out. And this might be a great opportunity because some people may have been on the fence about whether they thought it would be helpful or not. And now is a good time to try that out and see if it would be beneficial. Cool. And while we're here, I'm going to let Sherry real quick. We wanted to do some staff picks, but I know this was one of Sherry's favorites. It's called Remote Learning with Accessible Videos. So I'm going to let her just tell us what is her favorite part about this or why she likes these.
Oh, yes, this is one of the favorite things that I found. And right now they are offering free memberships for a year. The membership will be good for a year and it is free. You just have to sign up for it. And with the free membership, you have access to over 8,000 captioned and described educational videos. If you choose not to do the free membership, there are videos that are available for anyone without registering, but you would not necessarily have access to all 8,000. And they have 21 different categories of educational videos. If you go ahead and register with them, you can make a classroom, you can assign videos to students, and they have everything from careers to health and safety to math, history, science, literature, sports and recreation, and they're all right now free for the next year, and they are captioned and described, so they are accessible to everyone. So this is a really great website. I've been really impressed with it, and hope you enjoy using it.
Super. So that's under the Complementary Technology and Services. And then we created a module, Expanded Core Curriculum and Instructional Strategies. Originally, we wanted to break this down with just the 9 areas of the ECC, and you click on the ECC area that you're looking for. But a lot of really incredible resources are out there that cover all areas of the ECC. So the first few might just be general, that covers a little bit of everything until you get to the folders that have the specific ECC areas. So for example, the Excel Academy has, if you go to the website, it has, you can join live virtual classes to learn about teaching expanded core curriculum to students and children. Parents can watch this, teachers can watch this, kids can get on during the live sessions and watch, and they're also recorded so that they you can come back and watch it at any other time. There's a resource for students with multiple disabilities, and then when you go into that folder, it has a lot more resources under that that you can just link directly to the website, or it might be a PDF document, however it is laid out. And then if we go into the specific ECC folders, I know in assistive technology, Andrea has one of her favorites.
Yes, if you go to AT Instructional Videos and Resources.
Third one down, and we try to keep these alphabetized. It's a work in progress.
You go to Perkins Paths to Technology. This is a great site full of information, but you really do have to sort through it. So this link directly opens up to their search page. So you can even see here on the website, they have it broken down by devices, format, peripherals, learning media, screen magnification, subject, and even perspective of users. So there are tons of things. And then you can just do a full text search if you're looking for a specific device to see what they have available on that device.
Nice. That's like technology jackpot.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So also in our ECC modules, we have let's see, independent living. This is one of, we have a little bit of everything. So that's because we have some areas broken down: cleaning, household tasks, cooking, dressing, clothing, eating, money management, organization. We may not be able to find specific lessons or ideas or resources for every single one of these, but that's what we're looking for. So again, we need your help to help load these, but a little bit of everything. It covers the directions for me, which is directions seriously for everything, on changing a car battery, on making instant Jell-O pudding or something, and then video clips on blindness tips. That was another one of Andrea's top picks from the Washington School for the Blind.
This has tons and tons of video resources and even some printouts with specific directions on lots of independent living skills, from making the bed to cutting food, making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or just spreading skills. This is so fabulous to share with parents. Or even if you're just like, oh, here's a little Zoom lesson for the week, practice this with your student, then we can meet and talk about different strategies and check in and see how you're doing and see what you could provide support on. So tons of stuff: folding money, labeling, prosthetic eye care, tons and tons of stuff.
They have their own tying shoe video. We should compare techniques, but it is really great. The video is just right there. You don't have to, there's not a lot going on, so it's very easy to find things. So that's why we like that one. We like easy and obvious. Point and click. Career education. I think Kay you stumbled across this one as well, and like some of the features of It's My Job. So the It's My Job, it's a YouTube station. Let me see if I got it.
You want me to talk about that a little bit, Sue?
Yeah, just real quick.
Okay, just real quick. It's students who are visually impaired, excuse me, interviewing adults who are visually impaired about their jobs. And so it's really from the student perspective. And at first I was a little like, well, okay. And then you realize, okay, this is a kid asking these questions. And so I clicked on one that was about a teacher who was visually impaired and how she does her job and what she does. And so I think the kids would really relate well to this. So I think they've got 4, maybe 5 of them up right now. So it would be something that you could use as a career education lesson.
And exactly, especially with the kids doing the interviewing. And it's cute. Some of them are nervous, some of them are just real succinct, but it should help other kids kind of relate. And this link is not working, so that's where we also need your help. If you ever come across a link that's dead, or it's no longer, like the page has been taken down, definitely shoot us an email so that we can take care of that, because we want this to be an ongoing updating of sorts. The Orientation and Mobility, a really awesome site that I learned about on a call within the first few weeks of virtual learning, was called parentmobility.com. And this one is super, I just love it. If you go to there's a lot on here that you can explore, but if you go to the resources, the video directory, I think this is such a great thing for parents to see, like, oh, this is what he's supposed to be doing with his cane, or that's what that looks like. And a lot of these are things that kids can work on at home in their houses. So just sending these videos to your students' families and asking them to have your student show you this, how are they doing? And now the parents know that they know some of the language and the terminology, and they can help support students. They can get a sneak peek of what's happening when they're outside, what are some skills supposed to look like. And for those people who say, I don't know how anybody can cross the street when they can't see, they can learn a little bit more about what the techniques are to get to that point. The activities calendar, also under resources, is really, really helpful, especially for younger kids, I would say. If we go to April, the April O&M activity calendar. So APH did an activities calendar that had lots of concept development. So this is specific to O&M concept development. Again, as an O&M instructor, you could use this calendar and send home these activities every day to encourage your families and students to work on, or you can create your own and maybe just send home 1 or 2 activities a week so as not to overwhelm everyone, or maybe just make it a find something fun and say this is your weekend play time. A lot of these things are playing, exploring, just having fun, but kids are also learning mobility skills from it. So those were, I think that hit all of our staff highlights, and those a little bit of all the modules. Not every folder has resources in it right now, but we are growing and adding more, and we're continually checking to make sure things are current. The last feature on Canvas is called the discussions. And this is so that this is where people can communicate. You can share ideas. We have a general discussion board if you just have questions, you want to share something that worked, something that was successful, tips for other people. The virtual instruction resources swap meet. So this is where you can swap ideas. So I listed, trying to get the ball rolling here, check out blind abilities. So this was a great resource that was sent out by the Florida agency serving the blind, and that we will be able to use with our transition programs. It's filled with lots of podcasts on different topics that are related to career education, technology, fitness. So FASB sent that out, and I thought, great, let's put it out here. So this was just me highlighting, here's something. If anybody else has websites that you come across things like that, put that in the virtual instruction resources swap meet. The other discussion section that we have is the APH product swap meet. We know everybody's stuck at home. It's hard to get to your offices. You might have stuff in your trunks, in your garages, in your storage units. You may just have all kinds of random things laying around that you can't currently use, or you don't currently have students that need those items. So I found this at Lighthouse where I work, and I said, you know what, our teenagers aren't really into web chase. That makes sense. Somebody had loaned it to us to see what we could do with it. So this is something that I have access to, and it's clean. This is very important. It's clean, it's complete, and it can be mailed directly to your student's house via Free Matter for the Blind. So this is the APH swap meet. If you have stuff you don't need, take a picture of it, describe it, tell somebody how they can contact you, and you all can exchange resources and goods.
So Sue, I just wanted to remind everybody, so because the APH products that we provide, that's only for students who are registered with us, the only people that have access to this discussion board are teachers with school districts. Because we realize that there are other groups out there that they have their own way of getting APH products, and we want to make sure that the ones that we provided are kind of staying within our population.
Okay, so to have access to the discussions, then this is just for teachers of the visually impaired O&M instructors that work in school districts.
Just the APH one. Everyone has access to this general discussion board and the virtual instruction resources. Yeah. And I also just wanted to say, somebody had asked earlier about accessing. So once you accept the invite for this site, to get back to it later, the website you want to go to is canvas.instructure.com. You can kind of see that in the, yeah, there you go. So that's how to get back to it once you've accepted it and you've joined the site, and you just use your login information that you already set up.
Super. Awesome. Okay, so as usual, I talk too much. What is going on out there in TVI O&M land? We want to hear if anybody has some success stories. What's worked out really well? What surprises have you seen? What are your students doing that you didn't know that they were capable of doing? So who has some things to share that can kind of start us off?
And you can just put it in the chat box. And this is also something that I know we've had a request from OSEP that they're and the APH and the NIMAC, they're looking for success stories. Like, have you started using Bookshare that you haven't used before? Or, you know, are you using some of those kinds of things? So anything like that, and we want to share it. We want to share it on our website. We want to share it on Canvas. We want to share it with our Department of Education. So, you know, and it can be just something minor. Maybe it was a parent that really hadn't been engaged before that now you're finding they're coming back with, wow, this is great. I didn't know my child could do this, and this is amazing. Look at how he's reading this book. I mean, it can be anything like that. So anybody have any suggestions or any, and if you can't think of anything right now, there we go. Good. Okay. Super engaged with helping his 9th grade. He's amazed at how much his son can do. That's a perfect kind of thing. Oh, look at all these people. Yay!
Yes. So Norma from Palm Beach County says, I have mailed adapted materials to parents via Free Matter for the Blind. Parents are not seeing the adapted materials we use in schools and are asking for more. So I think this is great because it's really opening up those lines of communications between parents and TVIs. They're starting to use maybe the same language to work with the students, so there's consistency when they come back to school. So I think there are silver linings to all of this. Christy says she has 2 parents who are both laid off due to hotels being closed here in the Keys, and is now super engaged with helping his 9th grader complete his work. He is amazed at how much his son can do, raising those expectations for those students. Jolene loves all the sharing of resources. Jill, my biggest success, Jill is from Pinellas County, my biggest success has been with deafblind kindergartner who had been typically non-compliant and is fully engaged in live lessons due to mostly his mom's facilitation efforts.
Awesome.
That's a celebration. That's huge. Lynn Morgan from Collier County, my school system is using Canvas now. If I accept, since you want, this question, sorry. My school system is using Canvas now. If I accept, since you want us to use our work email, will that sync into my school system Canvas? It will sync to your Canvas page. So that page that Sue pulled up originally, when you go to my courses, it will pull up the FIMC teacher one, and it will pull up your school district one. That's how it should look. And any more success? Are you going to send an email so TVIs that are not here now will know how to access the resources? So we've been sending emails, and we want to make sure you're checking your junk email. Make sure it didn't get shoved to some other folder. We will be resending them. It's possible you didn't receive one. Maybe you moved to a different school district. So be sure to email Liz Anderson, eAnderson@FIMC-VI.org to get an invite.
And Andrea, just for a minute, if they click on the link, I get the email, and since we've started the webinar, I've gotten several. So if you have requested access, you should be receiving your invitation shortly.
Yay, super. Thanks, Sherry. My students with low vision who normally do not have technology at home now have borrowed school laptops and are rocking the built-in magnification and working on touch typing. Woohoo! Computer skills for the win.
Did you see somebody asked about what people are using for typing?
Yes, so please share with Elaine what you're using for typing. There's tons of companies offering free opportunities to use their software now, like Typeo. Typing Club is free. Teachers are recognizing the amount of time and work that it takes to convert digital files and programs into accessible materials. Yes, ma'am. They are learning, trying to convert assignments into Google Docs and making it more accessible for both low vision and Braille, so their students can complete them versus other students doing all the legwork for them. Yay. Yes, I think this is great. Classroom teachers learning, oh gosh, maybe I need to start with building something accessible from the beginning instead of retrofitting it later. Jeff wants to know, he is curious to know how other counties are dealing with Braille. Here in Broward, we got one of our Braillists set up with an embosser, and our Braillist can send files to be embossed. Teachers are mailing teacher-produced materials. A dedicated admin is delivering Braille to homes. Wow, produced by Braillists. It can be sent free matter, but it might not arrive as fast as you want. Any other creative ideas out there for Braille?
Yes. What is everybody else? What are some things that other folks are doing?
So give you guys time to type some answers in. Channing says, hope to connect directly to Braille Note Touch Plus remotely this week. Yay! Lots of good typing software programs being shared. Christy says, yes, same here with Braille Access. We cannot send any papers home to students. Wow, okay. So when there's a camera, there is a way. Having parents take, well, if they have a refreshable Braille display, you can also order materials from our loan library to be sent home. We have them mangled. We do have a limited amount of building on patterns. iPad with refreshable Braille display in Pinellas.
So, and just so you guys know, so the things that we're sending and that are shipping and receiving people, they're letting the boxes sit for 48 hours before they open them. So, and then by the time they handle them and then send them back, and they're wiping down everything that they do. And so we're really trying to be sure that we're making the, making sure everything is clean and obviously virus free before we send it out. So I'm just surprised that you can't send any papers home, because everything that we've said has said 48 hours. In fact, 24 hours is really paper. And after that, that it should be okay. So we doubled that to make it 48, just to be sure. So just know that, you know, we are aware of that and we are working with that. But these are some great ideas, guys. I'm so pumped.
I like this one in Hillsborough. They said that some parents are picking up at the meal grab and go sites. So it looks like they're doing a materials exchange. So using gloves, masks, hand sanitizer, et cetera, of course. So maybe getting creative, like, oh, fancy to run into you here. Look what I happen to have. So that's a great use of multitasking. Some TVIs have embossers at home. I think we said that dedicated administrators are dropping them off and picking up on the doorsteps, not having contact. More contactless delivery. So yeah, just leaving things at a designated pickup point and leaving them sit, or doing whatever the precautions that are being recommended. Most Braille is being delivered door to door. There's got to be some kind of a really good video or something out here of Braille, Express Braille.
Braille on the
Braille
go.
on the go.
I've heard a lot of counties call it porch drops. They're doing porch drops for materials for their students.
Yep, and then advising parents. I think that's really important too, to continually make those recommendations and giving that advice and reminders to use gloves when handling materials, to leave things sit for 2 days before opening, and just everybody just needs those reminders of what to do and what the recommendations are. Any ideas on actually teaching, on providing Braille instruction? Has anyone been doing Zoom or using Google Classroom or FaceTime, or just on the phone? Any kind of instruction that you're providing to the kids for Braille? So once you give them the materials, how are you following up?
Well, Kathy, you know, there's never any guarantees in life. It's just, that's one of the precautions recommended, is just to let items sit at least 24 hours, but we're saying 48 hours to ensure. And then of course to use gloves, disinfectant, whatever you need to do to ensure that you're bringing in a clean item to your home.
So, and we're just getting these recommendations from the CDC that the Department of Education is sending out as well, which they're probably getting from the CDC. So I think a lot of the same things are floating around. Consistency.
Yay, using FaceTime. And two, after we hang up this call, don't let the conversation stop. Go to Canvas, use that discussion board. If you have specific questions about how somebody's teaching a device, put it out there and see if what people have to say, what their response is.
So we have one. I've been having parents set up Google Meet on a separate device, okay, to view the student and the computer screen or keyboard on his or her device to walk them through the learning screen. So that's a really clever idea. So the student is doing their work, and then somebody else in the household is videoing them while they're doing what the teacher's instructing, so the teacher can get the visual feedback
That's awesome.
and then provide probably feedback from there. I'm using Building on Patterns over the phone. It's working. Many of the students don't have the internet yet. So even with a smartphone, using a speakerphone option that it gives everybody hands-free and just directing. I'm hoping that you're finding that more parents are getting involved and realizing, wow, this is everything that it takes to learn Braille, to learn this code, to develop that tactile perception. Maybe have the kids challenge their parents and get kids to teach their parents a lesson on basic tracking and using their fingers. So like we say, the best way to learn something is to teach it to others. So that the kids would probably, some of them would probably love coming up with a formal Braille lesson that their parents or their siblings have to do, and give them the instruction on the Braille mechanics and how to sit and how to use their hands. I'm going to try doing TeamViewer as a model and giving instruction, and practice with your own family members or practice with colleagues and work out some of the kinks. More questions about just working with medically fragile students and being super cautious. Again, I would refer to a CDC website. I'm guessing most school districts are putting out advice as well, and suggestions and recommendations. So we are not the end-all be-all. We are just reading and passing on recommendations that have been given for everyone to stay safe. Some districts have given free internet and devices from schools to all families who do not have access, so we're up to 95% with internet access. A lot of internet companies are also, they have been offering free internet for 60 or 90 days to students, so that they're in their home so that they can get access. So if you live in a district or county where that's not happening, maybe put some pressure on your local internet providers and challenge them to step up. Every student in our counties received devices who did not have the devices. This really from transition students that I've been working with, I've seen kids within a very, very short time period, like they completely different. Confidence coming out. We did a video chat last night with some of them, and kids were on there that we haven't seen in months because we normally do face-to-face meetings. So for some of them, they just feel more comfortable, that's just their comfort level, but they're participating, and they're using technology and things that they didn't know how to use before. Everybody just got thrown in and is learning as we go, and that might be less intimidating for people because they know nobody else knows. I know it was less intimidating for me because I did a few calls where I blundered and messed stuff up, or just plain said, how do I do this? Somebody help me. And everybody's just super willing to jump in because we're all kind of in the same boat. Andrea posted the CDC website of recommendations and precautions and what you can do. So share that with families, and then they need to be responsible for what they're doing in their households. It's been successful in my county as well. Kids are doing great with computers and teaching parents how to, that's awesome, teaching parents how to use and access. If students have additional adult support in the school, we've been trying to have those paras call and schedule time to support the students and the families. That's a really great idea. Because the kids are probably missing, if they're used to having paraprofessionals and aides and other support systems in the school, they're not seeing them anymore. As much consistency and routine as we can give the kids, probably the better off that they're going to be, and providing that extra. Somebody created Google Classrooms for individual VI direct students, including students with multiple impairments, creating videos with my own kids of how to do the activity with the student and the prompt hierarchy, and then have the parents submit the videos of, it looks like, their students completing the task as the work submission. That is super clever and good use of your children. Put them to use. That is so great. So modeling, this is how it's supposed to happen. This is what this is the instruction, you're using the language, you're using the positive feedback and specific praise, and then have your students' parents video them doing the task. Also, this teacher has a Google Classroom that's created for all parents of students with visual impairments with resources in various categories. Super. All students were given devices, but 90,000 devices going to have problems. Most of our students are being served in some form. I'm finding this experience great so far, with parents really getting time with their child and seeing their successes and their struggles. I just think for our population, this is huge. Like I said before, this is not something that we wanted to happen. People are in some very, very difficult situations and struggling, but there's always something that we can look to and say, well, this is the positive of what's happening, or we can make positive things. So one of the things I continually hear is how much families are getting involved and seeing what their kids are learning and learning it along with them. And like we can't say this enough, parents are also working. They're trying to do their remote working from home. They have to get their homework and their assignments done, as well as helping their kids. And then when they have kids with disabilities, it's just adding to it tenfold. So I would say for teachers who feel like maybe you're not covering everything that you would normally be covering during school, you're not getting through all of your lessons, you feel like you're not doing everything that you know you can be doing, that it's probably okay to step back, let the parents take the lead sometimes, and know when they're overwhelmed, when they've had enough is enough, and you offer and offer and offer and give ideas and suggestions, and everybody just finds out what works for the individual student and family. I've shared many videos with teachers and parents, and we use some TAs to help one-on-one students. Awesome idea. I also use the Google Classroom to give several activities. And so maybe now too, some TVIs, you can have several students on your caseload that are maybe working on the same skills or the same ability level or same interest level. You can do multi-student lessons where you couldn't do that before because they were at different schools. Instruction in Broward is being delivered primarily through Canvas, and that's a great thing because students that are going to be college bound or using Canvas in other facets of their life can now have practice with it and learn how to use and navigate. Any luck with access to Edmentum for a Braille student? Our social studies science teachers are mandated to use this program. Anybody out there chime in on that? Any luck with the access to Edmentum for a Braille student?
If nobody else has tried Edmentum, I would recommend, if you can, Christy, to do a quick accessibility check using either VoiceOver or NVDA or what have you, to see if it's accessible, and that will definitely give you an answer.
But if anybody, if you've used this, if it comes to you later, or you have a colleague or somebody else in your district that you come across this and they're using it and they have experience with it, then go to our discussion board and put that information out there so that others can benefit. So this, like Andrea was saying, the chat doesn't have to end here. These people have a lot of really good ideas, and you can put that on there in the discussion board.
Sue, one of the things I heard from teachers is they were using tripods for cameras or camera stands, so they could set it up over the students' hands so they could actually track the hand movements when they were working on Braille skills. If this is something that they have at home and is available, it might be a really good way to really continue working on those hand movement skills.
Great suggestion, or even to watch a student doing touch typing to make sure that they're using the home row keys. Or this might be a good job for a younger brother or sister to practice being the camera holder for kids working together, getting creative.
So hang on, Sue. I saw one where the teacher had taken a milk carton and had the student put the camera in one of the holes on the milk carton, and then had the Braille under it, and then she was able then to see FaceTime that through and then she could see because you think about the milk carton would be about the right height, so she made like her own stand. So
that is
lots
awesome.
of things, yeah.
those are the things we want on the discussion board on the virtual idea resources swap. Those are things that other people need to hear about. Everybody knows how hard it is being a TVI, and that you're very often on your own, even when we're face to face. So let's not have everybody reinvent the wheel. That is a brilliant idea. They say necessity is the mother of all invention. So let's get all your inventions out there and share the love. Somebody says we use Google Meet and Zoom to communicate with parents. One parent and student really enjoyed our interaction through Google Meet. I shared accessibility options, and the parent and teacher were very happy. Super. Not sure what this one is. Can you access the material on the application? So I'm not sure which application.
I think Channing's responding to Christy
Okay.
about Edmonton.
Awesome. Great, we're trying out Objective Ed. Ooh, I was wondering about that. We're just getting started, so I'll let you know how it goes. TVIs also have Google Classrooms and collaborating with families well. So far, I believe our experiences have been positive. Our older students already using devices and Google Classrooms were at an advantage. I have to leave. Oh, thank you. I also heard, I was on a chat a few weeks ago, and a TVI was saying she had a kindergarten student that she started teaching a refreshable braille display to, and a note taker. And she thought at the time, like, maybe this is kind of overkill, not really age appropriate or necessary. And he's maybe in 1st or 2nd grade now. And she said it's just great. She's like, it's been so wonderful. And he's really just taking off with it. And she's been able to get him a lot more resources and materials than otherwise. So I just think, like, with low vision devices, technology, braille, experience, hands-on experience, everything, you can never start too young.
Okay, did you want to throw out your requests for the success stories before we end?
Yes, and I've been taking notes. I've been writing down some of you guys that have made great comments and stuff on the session, that I may come back and contact you. But they do, OSEP is looking for, and I think our Department of Education is too, just, you know, so 4 or 5 little sentences, doesn't have to be very long. Just, and I think some of these I can actually go back in and just get some of these from the chat box. So we do want to be, you know, something that we can, and especially the technology ones. That's what they're really looking for, is how have students reacted with the technology. So I think the, you know, the things with the Google Classrooms and that you're using Zoom, and those are the kinds of things that they would really like to know. So if you've got something that you weren't comfortable putting in the chat, shoot me an email. My email address is up there. You guys should all know. And you know, I have to say, you kind of gave me an idea. They may shoot me, but I think maybe we need to look at a Canvas site for our parents.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think?
Yes.
So, again, I think we can copy a lot of what we already have here, because we do want this to be secure just for teachers. And I love the fact that you guys want to have another meeting. So I love this format, and I love this way that we can share and get ideas from each other. So you guys are rocking it. I'm so impressed. So impressed. Yes, you know, I feel like we're just back here building stuff, but you guys are the ones that are out there. You're the ones that are making it happen, and I cannot say enough how yeah, you all are all amazing. I'm gonna tear up. Okay, I'm gonna quit.
Definitely. I don't think we can echo Kay's sentiments enough about the incredible amount of creativity, problem solving skills, adaptability, flexibility. It's just we take so much pride whenever we hear from the DOE or other districts or anything that talks about, like, vision and what vision TVIs and O&M instructors are doing and families are doing to make things happen, and how impressed people are, or how quickly folks in the VI world are getting information out there and moving mountains, essentially. So just keep doing what you're doing. We're definitely we're behind you. All the addresses, our email addresses, our Google Voice phone numbers, since we're not in the office, everything's here. It's either on our, you can't find something, check our website, FIMC-VI.org, our Canvas site, or Facebook site. So we're constantly adding information to all those places. And yeah, kiss your brains, because they're on fire. Yay, give yourselves a big hug. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, anything else before we sign off, gang?
No, thank you guys for being here. Keep rocking it.
Can I ask for one more thing? What was the best idea you got today? Put that in the chat box.
And while you're doing that, don't forget that next week we have our Working with the Techsperts. So we have quite a few different sessions spread out over the original days that it was scheduled, the 23rd and 24th. So next Thursday, is it next Thursday? Yes, next Thursday and Friday.
Ooh.
Whew. Yeah, it's coming. So we're offering a few sessions online. Be sure to register for the sessions you are interested in. You do not have to attend them all. So we look forward to seeing you hopefully virtually again next week for Working with the Techsperts.
Yay, and remember, no travel requests, no permission to leave. You can wear your PJs if you want. It'll be awesome. Super. Thank you for the feedback. We want to do things that are helpful and beneficial.
Yes, and
So
I love that
the
all of
feedback.
you are finding different things that you're finding helpful. I mean, so it wasn't, so I'm glad that because sometimes I feel like we throw so much at you, but we don't know what you need. So this is the only way we can do it. So this is great. Thank you.
And again, don't let all the TVIs out there reinvent the wheel. If you have a great idea, even if you may not think you do, but if your colleagues told you that's awesome, put it on there. Let other people benefit from your brain cells on overdrive. Yay, share, share, share for sure. Awesome. Don't forget, everybody take a stretch break. Get outside, do some jumping jacks. Get yourself a jump rope. Keep moving.
My favorite quote is, "Fresh air is not contagious."
Yay.
So you can get outside.
Definitely share them on the discussion board, Kathy. Get into that Canvas site, share away.
This chat box will go away, so transfer your ideas.
I'm saving it now, actually.
Okay. It'll be here, but you can't add to it.
All right, guys.
All right.
Thanks again
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.